Alright, let's get started. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's going well. Tonight might be a short stream. I'm just exhausted. But let's soldier on. Alright, so, whoops, socks, be careful. Tripping over my arm. Wrong screen I'm looking at. Alright, so we did a release last week. We finished up the API stuff. We did some tests with the trying to put 10,000 cards within a Kanban board. We realized that at 10,000 cards it didn't work. 1,000 cards work perfectly fine, and I'm kind of like, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to use that knowledge which I've sort of gained on through doing that to sort of do it with more data and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll probably end up doing that on my NAS, but I won't do that on, not tonight. Oh no. We will go over to here. There's some things that I did want to actually clean up. Oh, sorry, I've just got to, I'm just jumping into the production version of NearBeach. I just don't want to accidentally show, yeah, I gotta log in. Alright, give me a couple of seconds. Oh, I got a token. Alright, give me a couple more seconds. Alright, in your bed. Alright. We're gonna open up the token. We've got the prod. Alright, cool. I don't want to show that screen. We'll jump into here. Okay, ooh, that took a little while to load up today. That's a bit weird. Okay, not a problem. Okay, so on here, we've actually done that one ticket. We've actually done that ticket. We've done that ticket. Oh, this is good. We've done that ticket also. Now with the Swagger stuff, I've got to set up and publish sort of GitHub action because it involves credentials and stuff like that. I'll probably do that offline, off stream. So yeah. We'll need to do the API unit tests. We'll need to implement Swagger for API documentation. We've actually done that technically. We've just got to set up the deployment. That will be something different. That will be a new card. So there will be a new card saying set up GitHub actions to deploy Swagger documentation. And that's actually going to be high because we're at that point now where we're happy to actually send out the Swagger documentation and we need people to come back with feedback on it. So yeah, we'll add a tag. It's going to be in this particular branch, which we're happy with. So there we go. We'll need to do the unit tests. We might do a couple more tonight with the unit tests. Implementability for the admins, and we need to actually implement that too. And we've just hit our first ad break for tonight. So yeah, for those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch, so no one gets pre-rolled ads. You guys don't need to worry, you don't get any ads, and we just do this so no one misses out on any content. And also, that tail belongs to Socks. There she is. All right. Oops. Uh-oh. Alright. I finally stacked my monitor, and I'm still fiddling around with the tightness and stuff like that. I probably put the monitors a little too close together, so I might get some help tomorrow separating them just by a couple of centimeters. So yeah. Anyway, we've got about 40 seconds left of the ad break. We're framed really well. Okay, so I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, I'm going to raise that one, and I am going to increase the details to So that should be the highest. Actually, no, that should be high. Alright, cool. And about 7 seconds. Alright. And welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone's okay. So, getting back into this, we've got a bunch of these in here that we'll review and so forth like that. So yeah, I'm quite actually happy that we've done a massive amount of work in the last month. Once these are done and these are done, essentially we've sort of completed what we want for the API for the 031. And then we start doing a lot of this stuff down here. Track and log failed login intents. Yeah, I should do that. That should be yeah, all right. Yeah, there's a couple of things. Oh, sorry. A couple of things we have actually got to do down here. Also, implement the ability to link requirement items. Yep. Implement story pod. All right. Yep, that one's done. That one's definitely done. Okay. So yeah, still a few tasks that we want to complete in here. Just having a look. We're not doing the requirement items? No, we're doing the requirements, but not the requirement items. Alright. And the pub I know, happy Friday! And Rio roaming. Hi, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome, welcome. I am pondering about what tasks I want to do next because I really don't want to do unit tests. I love unit tests. I just hate writing them. I'm terrible at writing unit tests. So, yeah. And I'm just cleaning up a bunch of tasks and so forth like that. So people know where we are with NearBeach at the moment. So, yeah, let's log in. Searching for web development. Okay, fair enough. Welcome, welcome. I do quite a bit of web development. So, in fact, I'm building an open source project management system, which you just saw. So this is, yeah, this is part of it. A small part of it. So, yeah, all right. API documentation, first stage done. Implementation of feedback. Access to... it should be in pro... We kind of want to do that for next month. However, next month is going to be fun because I've got to take 2 weeks off. I'm going to do all that testing. Alright, I don't think I need to update anything there. I think I've just been overzealous. Alright, we might as well jump into unit tests. So I'm going to go here, we're going to go sites NearBeach, we're going to go source, VM, bin, activate, done. Alright, cool. Currently at the moment, what branch are we on? We're on develop, awesome. Alright, so, I've got the latest code here, it's okay. Can I get a little info on what you're doing and what you're working on? Alright, so, I'm working on NearBeach, an open source project management system that I'm not running locally at the moment, which I should be running locally. Give me, oh, there we go. We'll log in as Dark Admin. So with NearBeach, you can gather basic sort of organization and customer details. From there, you can gather user requirements and break them down to requirement items. You can also use Kanban boards and create projects and tasks. And then when you're ready for a deployment, you've got a request for change. So yeah, that's NearBeach in a nutshell. So yeah. And tonight we're probably working on unit tests. Because I want to actually get up to 75% code coverage before I start the next branch of NearBeach. Alright, so we're going to go into one of our runs. We're just going to look at the back end first. I'm a newbie on web development and I don't know a lot. Oh, that's fine. Is your project a web or software? It is a web. It's essentially a web application. So you would access it through a browser and stuff like that. And don't be sad if you don't know a lot. I was once there and I still don't know a lot. So yeah, don't worry about that at all. And thank you very much for the follow. Greatly appreciated. So yeah, welcome, welcome. All right, so I'm just going to open up the code coverage document. So here we have a bunch of, as you see, it goes all the way up to 100%. We're not worried about the 100% at all. We're not worried about anything over 50 at the moment. We're more worried about down here. So we've got the GDPR wizard, which if we have a look in here, we can see we don't have any tests for deleting customer data where the GDPR object ID and stuff. Now, the problem is I have not set up a fixture for the GDPR yet. So I kind of want to set up a fixture with the GDPR, with the idea being I'll be able to sort of know what data is deleted, what isn't, and so forth like that. Yeah. So I probably won't do the GDPR tonight. The object scheduler, I thought we had unit tests for the object scheduler. Or I might be mistaken. Might be one of those things where I need to mock in data. Because the one problem with fixtures is they're usually fixed with their values. We've got a lot of date times, and sometimes we need to do some unit tests around date times. And I think mocking is a lot better when you need to... Sorry, let me refresh. Mocking the data is better in those sort of cases. So yeah. Oh yeah, all good, all good. It's mainly just what I stream. So yeah. Alright, so if I were to do this, I would have to mock the data, set up sort of different schedules, let's say a task schedule, a project schedule, and so forth, that multiple of those, and mock up the data that I know which ones should be activated when I'm running certain scheduled tasks. And then, yeah, we should be able to do something from there. Hey, Socks. She's like, oh yeah, scratch my belly. Okay. So, I don't even know if that's actually possible. Django mock data. Okay, quick unit test of models with mock. So let's say office. Yep, all right, cool. Office, employee. Yep, that's fine. PyTest, this decorator allows PyTest to access the database and write to it. Unit test for the employees now. All right, cool. I mean, so that might work if I set up a unit test where I could potentially bring in the no data variant and mock up the data how I need it. Yeah, it could work. Yeah. All right. Oh, be careful, socks. Gonna look at the next one. We've got decorators, check user permission, partials, organization permission. Yes. However, if you have a look, there should be a... It's how YouTube sets things up. So all the videos, these were ported over from Twitch, and then 8 months ago I started doing live, so all the live ones are in here now. I kind of wish I could migrate the live ones back into the videos. That would be pretty cool. So, yeah. Okay, I don't know why I'm not hitting any of these decorators. Because we should definitely be hitting something in organization permission. Huh. We actually might not be using these anymore. Let's have a look. Let's have a look in the code. No, we've got 3 usages. Okay. Yeah, all good, all good. Yeah, it's annoying. It would be nice to put all the videos in there and all that kind of stuff. I can kind of understand somewhat why you want that separation and so forth like that. But at the same time, yeah, it's annoying. Alright, so... Socks just sitting on the keyboard. We've got a bunch of this. We've got this, but this doesn't call this at all. Okay, so we might actually have some code that's just not used. Which is weird. Because we've got extra permissions, get extra permissions. And I'm calling it... Yeah, I'm calling it there. But where am I calling this? This is, yeah, this is used in quite a lot of places. We've got object data, public view, notes, document Gantt. It might not be used. That's perfectly fine. How much, like, how long have you been programming for? Because one of my recommendations is if you wanted to contribute and stuff like that to a project, contribute to something that you want to use or you are using and you love. It's only been 4 months? Oh, don't worry about it. My recommendation then is just build something for yourself, something small, something quick and easy. Just build a bunch of projects. So, yeah. Okay. I think through this we've found some dead code. Not 100% sure yet. but it's starting to look like it. Because if we actually hit that permission, those permission conditions, we would be here. I just want to see one thing. I am going to put a little breakpoint on there, and we're actually going to investigate the code. So if I go into localhost, we're going to find an object, not list all objects, but let's say list the customer and go into the customer. We're no longer, we haven't hit that yet. We're going to try a new organization. We're going to go socks org. So this needs to be a proper. We're going to put in a picture. Going to refresh. We haven't hit anything. Kajuru is hard and not in my list. First, I want to work for someone and learn from them, and by doing simple work for them and learn from them. Yeah. Yeah, my recommendation would still be to build something, because if you want to go work for someone, you need to go through the interview process, and if you don't have anything that you've made or anything like that, that will make that a lot harder. But if you've made something, you can turn around and be like, oh, I made this, and this is how I solved this problem, and so forth like that. So. Alright, we don't want to delete this organization, not yet. We're going to add in a note. I'm pretty sure we are not going to hit that. Yeah. A simple snake game in Py game. It's not that great. Just did what my YouTube tutorial told me. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Did you want to add on a little spin to that game? So yeah. And Mysterious Wayne, welcome, welcome. How are you going today? Oh, didn't I change this? Wait, yeah, no, I changed it on the organization. Let's pick that one. Okay, I haven't hit the organization thing yet. Now, that being said, it might actually be a Postman thing. So I'm just going to open up Postman very, very quickly. We're going to move that to there. I'm going to minimize all of this. We're just going to hit send. All right, that one worked perfectly fine. We're going to get the first one. Yep, that worked perfectly fine. We're going to do the put. Yep, that one worked perfectly fine. And we're going to delete the second one. All right, we have not hit this at all. Check user generic permissions. Checks user generic permissions. It'll gather both the destination location from the args and quarks, and from here determine which partial permission it should be checking against. The results for the partial will determine if the user is granted permission or denied. Alright. So, an operator. I'm making an open source project management system called NearBeach. So we're currently looking at all the unit tests, the code coverage, sorry, and we've noticed that these permissions that we've created, they're not being hit. And it could be just because we're not using it or something like that. So yeah. So it could be dead code, essentially. So yeah, I've just got to find out if we're going to use it. I've just tested the first one. It didn't work or anything like that. However, because I don't have enough, unit tests in there at the moment, I'm not 100% certain I can just delete the code. Because essentially it's referenced in this check user generic permissions, and yeah. Are you building a project management like ClickUp or Jira? Yeah, like Jira, essentially. So, yeah. I haven't used ClickUp, and I've never heard of ClickUp. Sorry, so Jira it is. Alright, so the next one, which we don't have many unit tests for, is the Kanban link list. So, we'll just, sorry. I wonder where I use this in the code. Alright, so we use it in here. And we use it down here when we've got Kanban link list. And we've got one usage for this, and that will be a URL. So Kanban information, link list. Oh, I think I remember where that is called. So if we go into this find objects, yeah, so if you're ever building something, feel free to download it and use it to help build your own projects. Yeah. You have to self-host though. So I don't have any backing to host any instance or anything like that. So yeah. That will cost me way too much money. All right, so if we go into here and we go link list. Oh yeah, link list. We've still got the URL in here. I'm just realizing my monitor is... Oh, I've got to tighten these. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. I've still got to tweak my monitors. Okay, so what I want to actually find is link list. I want to know where this is called. I'm going to use a file mask to mask it down into here. So this will be Kanban information. There we go. Kanban information. All right. New Kanban wizard. Get objects. Okay. So if I go into new Kanban board and I'm like, it's not doing that. Where am I getting this then? Oh, new Kanban link wizard. I've read that wrong. All right, don't worry. So going back into list objects. I'm tired. It's been a long day, so I'm mucking up stuff. And I don't know about Docker and the others, but I'll give it a try. Yeah, Docker's a bit confusing at the start. I will admit it took me a little while for it to click with me, and that's just because I came from Metal as a Service type of stuff, so I used to run my own sort of web server on a Raspberry Pi and all that kind of fun stuff, and Docker just seemed crazy to me at the time. However, nowadays I'm like, yeah, it's a useful tool. It is an extremely useful tool. Something nice to learn because, well, A, if you want to deploy something, or B, you want to spin up sort of dev environments really, really quickly where you can just destroy them at the end of the day, you can. All right, so this link lizard is when we click on this and we go project and we get data back. So what we want to do is we kind of want to do the similar thing with the unit tests where we, but that being said, we are changing this to the API, but then again, this is one of those things where I'm tossing up whether or not this is worth actually putting in this unit test, because we're moving this to an API call. And how we're going to handle it in the API is, yeah. All right. Let's go to the code coverage. So it jumps into here, inits, gets all our data and stuff like that, and even then I don't know what's sent back. Actually, I will know because I know the fixture. We can always test that it works, so that's a quick and easy one, which we can do. But then again, we're getting rid of this. Okay. And object data. Oh, these are all the APIs now. All right, the API we definitely want to do. So API object data, get list. Yeah, all of this will need to be done. This is pretty easy to do. So Django REST framework, unit testing and stuff like that. I mean, I can test to make sure that the data comes back. I'm gonna get data, but I'm not testing to see the shape of the data and all that kind of fun stuff. How many responses I'm getting back and so forth like that. I don't think I'm going to be testing any of that. I can't be bothered reading today, so I mean I can do this one. Yeah, let's do this one. All right, let's jump over here. Let's just close all of this. Let's open up this. Let's open up NearBeach. Let's open up tests. Let's open up test API. If we've got test user permissions. So this is just testing the user permissions. We can hijack this easily and put what we need in it. As you see, it's becoming really, really big already. We've got sprint data, we've got that. We don't have object data yet, I don't think. There's an easy way to just go up to the top and go object data. Yep, no. So we could potentially do object data link API. And do this really, really quickly. Anyway, we've just hit our second set of ads. So yeah, hopefully everyone's going well. For those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch, just to stop the pre-rolled ads. You guys don't get ads. You get to see me in socks just cubing and other stuff like that. Ooh, that's a weird angle that I put then, and stuff like that. I also need to fix my monitor. So you guys can't see it, but let's say my monitor at the top is slowly leaning like this. It's slow enough that you don't notice right away, and then you look up and it's in a different position and you're just like... So, yeah. Alright, quickly doing this. And done. How are we with the ads? Welcome back, everyone. Okay, so we are going to add in some more unit tests. So this is just testing the admin user. Yeah, API admin user. There's our class test. There's our sort of setup. We've got our setup. We've got run test array. All we need to do is essentially put in our, that's available data. Oh, careful, socks. Jesus. How's your head? She just whacked her head on the keyboard. Yeah, that's all good, Rio. It's all good. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to have a look at how I laid out stuff. Give me a couple of seconds. Sorry, once again, I'm working on very low brain power tonight. I've been working very hard. All right, getting stuff done. So this document is actually laid out to match the folder structure. So you got test API available data. So we've got test API available data up at the top. And then as you see, we're just testing a bunch of stuff of the available data. And then we've got coffee data. So we actually skipped the object data and went straight into coffee. We should also do in here the change task API, which I just realized we haven't done. So we can hit two birds with one stone. Let's start with the object data first. Do the harder task first. And whilst I still got brain power. Yeah, you can ask some questions. I don't know how well I'll be able to answer them though. Mainly backend. All right, I'll try my best. So what we want to do here, we want to go def test API object data, and then I don't know if I want to combine them all into one, because there'll be group and user data. Let's just open up this. Let's see what methods we've got in here. Those are all static methods that we don't need to worry about. All right, so we've got the create, and we've got the destroy, and we've got the list. So we could potentially get away with doing all of these in here like this. So we do the self. We then go data list equals like that, and then I like to put into here object data. They should do something like that. So the object data will be essentially these endpoints with data in them. In the test stream, it works manually when tested. All right, that will be a to-do fix later. So we've got the object data. I'm just going to put that off to the side. Oh, sorry. We're going to do the CRUD. So for those that don't know, CRUD just stands for create, read, update, and delete. Struggling to move from beginner to intermediate in backend development. All I hear is people tell me is watch more YouTube videos. Is that what I should do? I would also build more projects. You can watch as many YouTube videos as possible, but at the end of the day, you need to sort of solidify that knowledge, and the main way of doing it is to sort of do it. Is to jump in and build stuff. It doesn't need to be big. It can be something you can do within an hour or maybe an afternoon or something like that. Just a small little project. And once you do that, you'll find that a lot of that information that you've been watching on YouTube sort of solidifies in your brain. And then the next time you build the next project, you'll find it's going to be a lot easier to do and so forth like that. So, yeah. you're going to need to build stuff. You're going to need a program. And yeah, it doesn't need to be something big or anything like that. So yeah, like, what's it good? You can do a to-do app. So the to-do app, you'll have the front end, but let's say you just use basic sort of the old school sort of rendering where every single time you sort of do something on the page, it reloads the page. That way the backend handles all of that, and you could do it that way. And then later on, you might be like, all right, I want to learn API sort of stuff. And then all of a sudden you're doing an API. So then the front end could be managed using something like VueJS, React, Angular, Svelte, or something like that. So yeah, build small projects. NearBeach was actually a... So back when I was working at the university, this goes back years and years and years ago, I helped build a little task management system. And from there, that sort of stemmed into NearBeach. And I wanted to learn web development, and essentially NearBeach was my learning platform for that. I just built something. So yeah, build something. 8 years ago was when I published NearBeach on GitHub, or put it on GitHub. And at that point I had been playing around with it for a lot longer than that. So yeah. NearBeach? I don't understand that. Sorry. You mean NearBeach? NearBeach is what I'm working on. Alright, in here, we're going to go self.url test. We're going to have the URL. We're going to go API. I've forgotten the API. No, I do know the API. It will be object data, I do believe. And then we want to have... This will be the create. Give me a couple of seconds. I want to double check this URLs. Okay, object data, where are you? It'll be all like this. Oh. Yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna copy that for reference. We're just gonna do that for the moment. Oh, fair enough, yep. What resources do I recommend? Free Code Camp is what we mostly recommend, but yeah, there's a lot of YouTube stuff out there. With the backend, I would recommend something with a model view controller sort of backend. So a good sort of model view controller, depending what you want, Laravel, Django, both are my to-go-to, just because I just know them. That's it. There are other ones out there. There's also .NET. I'm just going to put .NET. If you didn't want to build a web application but wanted to build a website, you've got WordPress and Umbraco. Umbraco is more of, you've got to set up more things and so forth like that in the back end to get it to render. So yeah, as for Free Code Camp, you can tell we've typed this quite a lot in this channel. This is all free. Just go to menu curriculum if, oops, I just went somewhere else. Whoops. I'm just gonna close that. Sorry, hit forum. Go to menu curriculum to actually see what sort of courses there are. You can see front end sort of stuff. You got the backend development and APIs. Just like click it open, and you can sort of read their documentation and stuff like that. So yeah. It always feels like there's a lot to learn, and in reality there is. However, you can get a lot done with not knowing as much as everyone else. I know that for a fact. Alright, getting back into this, we've got the unit test. So this yeah, we're gonna be doing this against each yeah, I remember this. I'm gonna do it down here and stuff like that. Alright, that's why okay. I'm just gonna undo what I did. And the main reason being is I've just remembered that because this is split up by destination, location ID, I'm going to be putting all of these within the specific unit tests and stuff like that. And we can do that now. So if we scroll up to the top, I'm going to close that one. I'm going to close that one. Yeah, and have fun. Don't worry about not knowing everything. You learn as you build stuff. You'll be surprised how quickly you learn when you build stuff. You come across a problem and you essentially figure it out. So yeah, don't forget to read the documentations, and ChatGPT is a tool. And not saying that as a bad thing. Remember, it's a tool. You don't use just one tool, you use multiple different tools to actually complete a project. Sorry, I got something in my eye. All right. What was I doing? I was scrolling up, scrolling down, so we're all happy with that. The coffee data, we don't need to touch. This is a joke one. This is the customer data, and we don't actually hit the object data with that. The Kanban board data we do. Oh, I've made a note. Oh, alright. Looks like I'm not doing those tonight. Alright, I should really looked at this before I jumped on. So we're not touching that. We've got the... I mean, I can test this. I can test the permissions for this. I just won't test the data retrieval. Where can I find people to work for? Unpaid is okay. That's my last question. Alright. I'm assuming you're a student. Alright. In Australia, we've got work integrated learning. I'm assuming you're a student at a university also. Have a look at the equivalent in your course. Because the idea is a lot of places, they have connections with industry. Yeah, with connections with industry. Otherwise, you're going to have to start networking. So go to something like meetup.com, type in, let's say, AWS. And let's say, I'm going to say Gold Coast. You know, because I usually do Melbourne. I'm now interested to see if there's an AWS sort of meetup in here. And what I would do is you would go out to these meetings and start networking with people and so forth like that. Say that you're interested in this and you kind of want to learn this and so forth like that. Hopefully someone there, now it won't happen straight away, but hopefully someone there is like, you know what? You sound like you would be fun to work with. Here, have a job. So, yeah. Most sort of jobs that people get, they get because they actually know someone. Every single job I've had, apart from my current job, and when I was a kitchen hand, I've gotten because I've known someone. Okay, in it. Let's, yeah, alright, so. Let's minimize this, let's open up this. Let's open up NearBeach, let's open up tests, let's open up the user permissions. We're gonna put this in multiple different areas. That's okay. And hopefully you do get something. Don't be put off if it takes a while to get a job. It happens. A lot of the times, that's just life, sadly. Alright, so this is testing the admin. So we're testing all of those. Now, with this particular one, this is the... What is this called again? Where's my class? Where's my class? There we go. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm extremely tired, so my brain is slowly going to sleep. So we are calling it here in the Kanban views. In this particular place, we're calling it right here. We've got the usage here. So we've got Kanban information. All right, cool. So I'm just going to copy that. Actually, I just need to copy that because we got the name of the URL in here. We're not going by any alphabetical order, but that's perfectly fine. We're going to put in a new thing, our URL test. We're putting in the name. Oh. You too, Rio roaming. Anyway, have fun. So we're going to put in this. If we have a look at the URL, we can see that we need the Kanban board number. So we're going to put in, I do believe, number 1 for it. We don't need, ooh, I think we do need data for it. So I'm going to have a quick look at this. Yeah, we've got the search object form. So we're going to go in here. If we actually go into this and we click on the link list and have a look at the request. So we've got project, destination page, exclusion location, and search is nothing. All right, that's perfectly fine. So we just got to recreate that in here. So we've got array of objects. It's going to be project. Destination page. It's going to be 1. And then the search. Oh, exclude location ID. That's also going to be a 1. And I think that's it. Exclude destination is in there too, Kanban board. Now, as this is taking multiple different lines, I end up splitting it out like this. Is this the get list? It's fine. They're both post and get. All right. Yeah, they're both mixed. All right, not a problem. Worst case scenario, what I'll do is I'll sort them out one day. Not today though. So exclude destination is going to be Kanban board. Like that. So we've got, and then search is empty, which is fine. Okay. So we're just replicating this over here. This should work if we get rid of this. And we go like that. We go Python 3 manage test. That should work perfectly fine. And I believe we should be hitting that. Oh, we've just hit a fail. So something went wrong. And you know what went wrong? This isn't structured correctly. That's what went wrong. So we should get a 200 and this should be a post. Let me rerun that again. All right, that's working perfectly fine. So what I want to do is I want to put in a couple of these. 1, 2, 3, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, cool. I can't count at the moment. And I'm going to put in a Kanban board of 2. And that should be fine. We're doing some permutations with this data. So we'll do that as a 1, and we're going to go task. We're going to and then this will be like that. So task and then requirement. So that should be enough tests for us to go, all right, we'll be happy with this particular thing. So I'm just gonna go into here. I can't see if it's passing or not because socks is in the way. All right, cool, it passed. So we're actually very, very happy with that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. We actually need to test it now for the other particular users. So the read, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to actually paste this at the very, very end. There you go. This is going to fail. I'm guaranteed that I think 3 of the tests will fail in this. I'm just checking to make sure that they are failing. All right, we've got 3 fails, much like how I predicted. Yeah. We've got 403s. So the read-only user can't access some of these. And yeah, to make this test passed, we're just going to go 403. It should pass this one, won't pass this one. It won't pass this one. All right, so if we redo the tests, we should get everything passing. And once again, I can't see the screen because socks is in the way. And I've also forgotten how to do test coverage locally too. Did I write that down? What's your best time with the cube? 27.9, I think it was. Been a long time, but I'm nowhere near as fast. And I think it was my best time because I fluked the top layer. So when I got the 2 lines done, I think I tried getting the corners all done and everything just fell in place. So yeah, it was a fluke. It was a fluke. So yeah, has happened a few times actually. There's been times where I've completed the second layer and the top layer is already done. Yeah, that's fine. That 50 seconds is still quite fast. So yeah. All right. So I'm all happy with that. Now, the thing is, we've got to actually paste this, copy and paste this into multiple different users because they all have different permissions and I just want to double check everything is working. We won't need to do the read-only extras. I think the team leader is the only other one I want to put this in. And I don't know what I pressed then to get all of that. So I'm just going to do that. And this should just run perfectly fine. The best thing is, because we're testing that, it should cover this code coverage in here now. Because we're actually fetching the data, we're actually checking to see, all right, cool, if the result's this or this or this. And yeah, that should work. So, I don't know why I closed that. Please ignore the fact that I just closed that for no apparent reason. So going on here, that one should be done. The object data we're not doing at the moment. The Sprint API, I guess, potentially we could do the Sprint API. Anyway, we've just hit an ad break. Welcome back. We also are joined by Socks, who's been actually okay tonight. Apart from the fact that before she had to lay down, and as she was laying down, she hit her head on the keyboard. The poor thing. So, yeah. Hopefully everyone's going well. For those on YouTube, we are running ads on Twitch every half an hour, so no one gets pre-rolled ads. They suck. And we do this so no one misses out. Don't worry, you don't have any ads. That's perfectly fine. So, yeah. Welcome, welcome. I do hope you guys are enjoying the content. I do apologize. I'm very tired tonight. It's the end of the week. Yeah, I'm going to go to bed early tonight. So, yeah, we'll see how long I can last. I think I can pull half an hour more. So, yeah. Got about 30 seconds left of the ads. And, yeah, we just got to figure out what unit tests we can do. We can't do all of them. Yeah, for some reason. For certain reasons. Yeah. Anyway, we've got 10 seconds of ads. Socks should be dancing. Anyway, welcome back everyone. So, we're going to have a quick look at the Sprint API. So, we've got the create. That should be easy to do with the Sprint API. That's just creating. We've got a destroy. That's easy to do. We've got a list. And we're only just checking the permissions and so forth like that. So, yeah, read-only users won't be able to do the creation and all that kind of fun stuff. So, yeah. All right. Okay. Let's jump over to here. I'm just going to close all tabs. What were we doing? We were going to do the sprints. So in here, we have an API tests. We're going to open up the test for the admin user. We'll actually be copying this and using the exact same one for the team leader and the read-only. With the idea being that we can be like, all right, cool. These particular users won't have permissions or the certain permissions and stuff like that. So we've got the Kanban board. We're just going to put this down here. Actually, no, we've got the organization, project data, sprint data. All right, so we've got the placeholder in here. And good morning, Pluser27. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. So we're going to go sprint data. Okay, I'm just going to split to the right just so I can grab a reference. So in here, what we want is self URL test. Going to do that so you guys can see most of the code. We are mistyping API version 0. We want sprint. This is where I double check the URL. Like so. So we've got sprint. Okay, cool. It's just sprint. Sprint. Now we've got to do a /. This will list everything. This should be a 200 and it's simple get. And we'll be happy with it. So test.url test API version 0 sprint 1. We've once again got a 200 and a simple get, and then the self.url test, and then API version 0, and then we've got the sprint 2, easy done, 200, and it'll be a get. All right. For the team leader, because they won't actually have permissions to sprint 1, when we actually copy this over into the team leader sort of side of things and make sure that the team leader logs in and all that kind of fun stuff, we'll actually be getting rid of the 200 and putting a 403. So yeah, that's why we're doing the admin first, is because we can do all of the admin, copy it over, go through, find everything that's a /1 and go, nah, you're a 403, and yeah. So there's our, there's our list. So that's the read. So let's do the create. So API version 0, sprint. We don't need anything there. We do need a bunch of data. We should have a 201 for a create and then a post. Now I need to put in data. So the best way to do that is to actually open up Postman again. What does test API sprint mean in this context? All right, so I've got a bunch of unit tests, which I am sort of running to make sure that my code is correct. That's the test. These tests are being done on the API. So essentially, if you have a look here, I'm hitting this API like this, and it's actually either, in this particular case, it's sending me back data. But we could give it some data and it will send back a the data it just created. And the sprint, that is some fancy organization term where you've got, like, let's say 2 weeks, and you've got a bunch of tasks that you want to complete in those 2 weeks. So yeah. So in this sort of case, we've got organization. No, this would be the sprint, not the organization. I am going to save that. I'm going to close all tabs. I'm going to save all changes. That's perfectly fine. We are going to open up the sprint. We're going to go with the post. We're going to have a look at the body. We've got a couple of bits of detail in here. We're just going to copy and paste. Yeah. All right, so we've got the destination location. So in here, we'll have, I'm just doing it like this. We'll have destination is going to be project. Location ID is going to be 1. And then we've got the sprint name. And we're just going to put hello world. Hello sprint world. We have the start date and end date, which I'm just gonna do that. And this will work for this admin user. However, much like how I explained before, if we change this to a number 2 for the team leader, it won't work. Now that's 57 to that should be a 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to a 2. And when we copy this into the team leader, we're going to change all this and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah. All right, now the next thing I could potentially do is I'm just gonna paste that again, and I'm gonna go down 7, paste it again, and instead of project, I'm going to do requirement, requirement, and do that. So it's testing sort of different permutations. So we've just done the sprint. So I'm happy. This is all tested. So yeah. So the sprint one, it should definitely... we haven't done the delete yet. But that should be fine. We need to do a put. So we're going to do a put very, very quickly. We're just going to go self.url test. We've got the API version 0. We've got the sprint. We're going to have a 1 in here. We're going to have a look at the data that we require. We're just going to jump over here and double check what the data is. I'm pretty sure we don't need the destination and location ID. I'm just unticking those. Oh yeah, no, it's used for double checking. Yeah, no, that there's a reason why we do that. All right, that's going to be the same stuff as up here. Easy done. And we're just going to do a 200, and that will be a put. Easy done. I think that's once again 7. We're going to do the same thing, but with location 2. Now, I don't think I did anything with the requirements or anything like that. That's perfectly fine. Once we do the puts, what we want to do is we want to do the deletes. So we want to do self URL test. And then we want to go API version 0, sprint 1. No data's needed. Status code is a 203. No, not 203. 204. No content. 204. And the method will be delete. And we're just going to do that for the 2 objects that were already in the system, in the fixture and stuff like that, because we know their properties and so forth like that. So I'm happy with all of that. That should all potentially work. Sorry, I moved my mouse way too far. So we're just going to run these tests. Alright, so it failed 3 times. So I've done something wrong. Ooh, we've got a couple of 400s. So we've just got to figure out why I got a couple of 400s. So the best thing to do, best thing to do in this sort of case is let's just go from the top down. I'm way too tired to try and figure out what exactly is broken, so we're going to do this the slow way, sorry. Alright, we got some more warnings. I need to get rid of those warnings. So that's working perfectly fine. Let's test the post. It could literally be something with the post and I've accidentally caused an issue. All right. Alright, cool. I'm going to assume this post will work perfectly fine. It might be... Actually, it might be the requirement. Let's find out. All right. The joys of finding the issue in your unit test that you just wrote. Okay. Oh. All right, cool. And it has something to do with these puts then. And it could be that these locations and the IDs don't match up, and that's something which we could look up very, very quickly and fix. So going in with this. And that's also something I should be testing too, to make sure that if there's an incorrect matchment, that it's going to fail and not accidentally update something that the user didn't want to update. Alright, that worked. Maybe it's the deletes. Or this particular one. It's the last one. Alright, cool. Cool. Well, these things happen. Alright, so this location 2 might not be a project. Hang on. Might be that. Because now you might be wondering what that error is. Essentially, if we've got a a sprint, it'll be connected to an object, and the idea being is you send both the object IDs and the sprint ID, so that it sort of validates that you are wanting to update that one sprint. So yeah, that was it. So we actually want to test that again. But we want to key in the wrong information. Because we want an error. We want a 404. So that is one legit test that we can actually do. Now, as for the delete, we'll get to the delete in a minute. This is still a good test. All right, sweet. We're just going to do that very, very quickly. Those last ones, it could be just a status code problem. Now, in reality, we should be sending back a 204. So if we're not doing that, that is a bug, and we're going to fix that right away. All right, 400. I'm going to have a quick look at Postman. Oops, I keep pressing the wrong thing. Without delete, we are sending destination and location, but we're not telling the user that. Or are we? And I'm not listening. No, we're getting a 400. All right, so this is an easy fix. We're going to actually go and edit the API right now. We always find a bug whenever we write unit tests. We're so close to not finding a bug. But we found one. We want to go to NearBeach, views API. And we want to open up requirement API. We then want to scroll to the destroy section. Here it is. So what's actually happening, self.getObjects. Oh, we should be getting the object. Oh, sorry. Now, I'm going to go to Postman. I'm going to untick these. So we've got... I don't think we have got a sprint 5. Invalid token. All right. Slowly getting through all these bloody tokens. Okay. We do have one. So I'm going to go to delete. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm just going to hit send. Destination location 400 bad requests. All right, cool. So it looks like we do need the destination location. That's fine. I'm happy with that. So we'll have in here we'll actually do this first. because we still want those to fail. 2, 3, 4. But then I want to delete them. And then the delete will be the 204. Okay, let's run that. And yeah, that monitor is... sorry. I wonder if I do it like that. That looks terrible. Yeah, I'm going to need to sort of fix this up. All right. Sweet. Oh, failures too. So URL application 2 with the destination project location 2 status code 204 method delete. All right. So what I want to do, jump over here. We want to go into get sprint 2. We're just going to hit this, do that. Sprint ID 2 is the destination of project and location 2. So if I go 2 in here, sprint deleted. Location ID. All right, that was my bad. Okay. Still breaking stuff. All right. Where was I? 404 doesn't equal 400. Oh yeah, because that will be bad. Yeah, 404. All right. Because the system will be like, we can't find that. Okay, that is done. So I believe if we go back into the coverage for NearBeach, sprints is now done. So we've just done sprint, done the Kanban link. So that should be up into the high 90s. That should bump, hopefully, this up 1% or 2%. We do have the Kanban column view, which we can send data to and all that kind of stuff, which we do definitely want to test to make sure that works. So yeah, okay. Anyway, but before we do, I actually want to see the test coverage. I forgot how to get the coverage. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to see if I wrote some notes. No, it won't be in the README. Django coverage. Requires me to doing too much stuff tonight. All right, the reason why I did that is because everything's set up on Circle CI. It'll take us 5 minutes to actually see it all done. Actually, probably not that much too long. 2 minutes and 53 seconds. So not too long. So I want to click on this. I want to have a look at this. And then we'll just click on this. We've got about 2 minutes left to do it. But in the meantime, we can look at the old coverage and be like, all right, we could potentially do the Kanban board stuff. So we've got to edit the Kanban board, in which case we've got to send back a particular ID up here with the Kanban column ID and all that kind of stuff. Now, this is one of the things that we are going to move into the API. I know it's one of those things where I'm kind of like, do I need to write unit tests for this, or am I writing unit tests for this? Because, yeah, it's... otherwise, after that, we've got user settings. This won't be... create user settings. Oh, sorry, be gone. Yeah, delete user settings. Update user settings. This is something I can quickly actually do. This is a very, very quick one. I don't know why we would delete user settings. I've forgotten where we call that. So we're going to have a quick look. And we don't use it. Alright, there's some code we don't use that we should be getting rid of. Alright, sweet. How's this one going? This is still running the tests. It's almost finished. So user settings shouldn't be too hard to actually do. So for example, if we go into here, I'm just going to delete all of this. I'm going to delete that, so we just see that. If I minimize this, you can see it actually updates the unit settings. Very quick and easy. And it's just some JSON. That's all it is. The idea being is those settings actually convey the last state you left the Kanban board in. Whether these are open or closed. You can quite literally copy this and go JSON pretty. We can paste this in, we can delete all of that, paste it in, and I'm just gonna do something like this so you guys can actually see it properly. As you can see, can drag cards is true. We've got the levels and the ID of it, and if it's actually collapsed, true or false. And that's it. That's all the data that gets sent back there. This can be tested very, very quickly. We can actually grab this and assign it against the user. But in the meantime, this has just been done. I want to have a look at the artifacts very, very quickly. I'm going to open up the index. And we can see a little bit of shifting around now. So we did the, what was it? Kanban links list. That's now up to 86. We've also gone up to 66 with this, so from, I think, 65. 64, so we're up 2%. All right. We are trying to get to 75. And I think doing the API will definitely help us with that. What else did we do? We did the sprints. So the sprint list API. Oh, did we really do the? There we go. The Sprint API, that's now up to 86. So we're not testing that. We're not going to send something that just doesn't work in the back end just to test this one return and stuff like. I mean, we might, but it seems a bit useless. So yeah. Yeah, that's never gonna not do that, so that's fine. Retrieve a sprint product is non-destination project. We could have done a retrieve for the requirement sprints, but I don't know if I've set any up in the fixture. So that is something I could look into. All right. Once again, we're not going to test that kind that way. I mean, we could with bad data, being like, all right, if it doesn't pass this, if the sprint IDs don't match up properly and all that kind of stuff. But then we're just missing data and stuff like that, and that's just really annoying to test for because there's so many permutations of that. And you're literally just testing for testing's sake, just to get that elusive 100. And it's like, no. This is fine. So we bumped up 2 points easily. So what were we going to say we were going to test next? Yeah, I think we can test the settings. This ain't going to be the API, so I'm going to close all tabs in grep. I'm going to close that one. I'm going to minimize everything. I'm going to open up this. I'm going to open up our NearBeach tests. This is actually going to be user, it's not user permissions, it's going to be user specific user. It's not test management, no. We're not testing the decorators like that. Test API, no, this ain't the API. So I'm just giving myself a little bit of a think at the moment. So what do I want to do? Because these are testing user permissions. Alright. This will be called test specific user functionality. I think that's the best sort of way to do that. We're just going to go in here, init.py. I'm going to add all of that in. We're also going to add in the new test functionality. We're going to follow a particular format. So this will be test. Test admin user settings.py. And then I am going to open up one of these. I'm going to put that off to the right. We're just going to go all the way up to the top, and we're just going to copy everything to about there, and we're just going to paste it in because it's going to be the same essentially. So test, apart from administration permission tests, what we want to do is we are going to name this. We're we drop the test from the start and we go admin. All right, cool. Admin user setting tests. Easy done. Test case. We've got the fixture with the basic sort of setup. We're perfectly fine with that. All the login and everything like that is the same. All of that's going to be the same. We're not touching that. And then what we want to do is the following test will send some Kanban settings to be saved. That's all we're doing. What we want to do is, I do believe we just want to sort of copy that. Oh my god, just let me copy. Like so, we can just do that for the moment, and then we just go all the way down, and then we go and do something like that. Yeah, once again, a lot of this code is just copy and paste. It's testing, it's fine, and we don't need to actually over-engineer this. So I'm not too worried about dry in here. All right, going over here, let's go and find settings. So there we go, user settings view. We're just going to click on it. We've got this create user settings. So we've got the update user settings. That's what we want to actually find. One usage. So we hit user settings update. And hi Project Black, how are you going today? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome back. All right, so sorry, I've lost my train of thought. It's just, you're good as well at Happy Coding. Oh, fair enough. Well, yes, Happy Coding back at you. I'm probably not going to be on much longer just because I'm exhausted. It's been a very long week. So yeah, I wanted to get out a couple more unit tests. And then, yeah, I really ought to sit down and start designing more unit tests for NearBeach. It really does need to happen. I need to sit down and go, all right, these need to be done. And it's, yep. All right, so we've got the path, user update, user settings, update user settings. We've got the name, user updating. That's all fine and dandy. What we want to do also is to do something. We want to actually hit that. Sorry, this is just me in struggle town at the moment. So we've got to create user settings. Now, there's nothing that we're porting through in here. This is just it. So we need no attributes. We do need some data though. And the best way of getting that data is to go over here and we are going to copy that. So setting type is going to be Kanban board. So setting type. And then the next sort of thing is going to be setting data. It's going to be this whole entire JSON. And I'm just going to do that. Going to get rid of that. Now that should be a simple 200. Now we do have another place where we've got settings. I've forgotten where else it is. Because it passes through the user settings form. which is fine. I'm trying to remember if it's in the profile. Ah, it is too. No, it isn't. No, don't worry, I'm drunk. Yes, no, no, it isn't. Don't worry, I'm going crazy. I think that's it. All right, let's test it. Let's make sure it works. So Python, we're just gonna Python 3 manage test. And it failed. Reverse match for create user settings not found. You know why? Because I am tired. That ain't it. It's user setting update. Okay. No, I've got an F still. All right, let's see what the F is. $405 does not equal 200. Method not allowed, I think, and it's George W. Bush eating a cat. There he is. That poor cat. This is a post, not a get. All right, sweet. All right, so we've done another little one in there. I'm just wondering if there's another quick one. This one should do the... If you have a look at the methods, update user, it does the form, update user setting it, so it hits that. If length equals 0, make them instead of updating them. Which would be true. And then it would make them. So yeah, it should cover that whole entire document. So that's the sprint view. Alright, I've got to do the Kanban level and columns next. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to probably call it there tonight. I am absolutely tired. Let's go git status, git add, git commit. Adding more unit tests. Push. We'll also start adding more unit tests in for the VueJS stuff too. So yeah, the testing will be a big part of our push towards 0.32. And Storm Devil, hi. Sorry, I'm just about to finish up. So yeah. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of unit tests and so forth like that for our push towards 0.32. We want the system as sort of robust as possible before we start making any database changes. And Ashes of Owls! I was just about to raid someone. Alright, I'll go on for a couple more minutes. But yeah, I'm getting tired. How are you, Ashes of Owl? How was your stream? So yeah, welcome. I've got a new setup now. I've got the monitor up here, so hence I'm looking up. And we're joined with us today. It sucks. She's over here. There she is. Yeah, getting her little back scratches. Yeah, I'll do 2 more minutes. I'll just prattle on for 2 more minutes. So yeah, you're gonna start learning web dev. Could you recommend any YouTube videos out there? I don't have any YouTube videos off the top of my head, but I do recommend Free Code Camp. So let's bring up a tab. Free Code Camp. Once this loads up, you don't need to sign in. You can go menu curriculum and jump into this sort of stuff. You've got like your front end React sort of stuff. You've got your back end development and APIs. You've got your databases and so forth like that. Depends what you want to do, because web development is a large sort of umbrella. It can go from being system administration all the way to the front end developer. So yeah, I do front end, back end, system admin. Celery is on the terminal, similar to your previous theme. Ah. I don't know why when you sometimes try and highlight stuff, it does some other stuff. What are you talking about? My terminal? Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah, and Storm Devil, my other recommendation is just to build small little tiny things. Not things that are huge, that are going to take you a long time, but small little tiny things that you can get done within an hour or 2, maybe an afternoon. Yeah, just build it as lots of little tiny projects and stuff like that. So, yeah. Alright. Now, another thing I've got to do is more unit tests for we'll go back to Circle CI, we'll go back into the build itself, but we need more unit tests for the VueJS sort of stuff. So if I jump into here, I go into the artifacts, I jump into index, you'll notice that we've only got 32.82 of the functions. So yeah, this is something we've got to improve. If I bump that all the way up there, we haven't done anything with the GDPR at all. Oh, we've got components. Yeah, the public card, we haven't done any unit tests for the public card, getting them rendered and mocked up and all that kind of stuff. So I'll need to do that. Now, our aim by September is to get approximately 75% of code coverage for both the back end and the front end unit tests. We'll also probably extend to the end-to-end tests too, but the end-to-end tests at the moment are good enough that if there's a problem that pops up on the page, a critical problem that pops on the page, it'll find it. But we'll also hopefully extend that too. Yeah. I am actually hitting a wall. We are going to find someone to raid. I'm sorry, I'm slowing down very quickly. Alright. Let's annoy Togglebit. Actually, no, let's annoy Matt Bird's quest. He pops in quite regularly, so yeah. He looks like a floating head at the moment. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much everyone for coming tonight. Thank you very much Ashes of the Owl for the raid. I do hope you guys enjoy Matt Bird's quest. Sorry I'm just not as awake today. But yeah, I am hoping I will be back Monday full of power. I will also, because Monday it isn't a new month, but we'll be doing the July goals on Monday too. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much and have fun. And for those on YouTube, I do apologize. You won't be able to join the raid, but don't forget to like and subscribe if you like my content, and hopefully you get to see me more. So yeah, thank you. Anyway, have fun.